The decline of the human race, the end of civilization. If you've ever scrolled through X, previously known as Twitter, you would have seen these talking points show up from time to time. Even Elon Musk himself, the new CEO of X, has uttered this phrase, the end of civilization, the end of humanity. Now, obviously, these statements sound very dire, right? I mean, nobody wants the end of the human civilization. Nobody wants the end of mankind, right? So you want to dig deeper, figure out what is happening. What would compel someone like Elon Musk to utter this phrase to his millions of followers, kind of stoking up fear that the civilization is coming to an end, that the humanity or the human civilization is coming to an end? You do a quick Google search to figure it out because you're trying to understand what is happening. How can we save the human race? Come to find out, he's actually talking about the white race. Or sometimes they like to include the Asian race into it. Apparently, in Elon Musk's mind and in everybody else's mind who's ever uttered this phrase, humanity, whatever, the civilization coming to an end equals white people. Like, I don't think you understand the level of arrogance that comes from that alone. That somehow, if white people die out, civilization dies out. If white people die out, humanity dies out. And I guess if you want to say it's just a talking point, it's just a buzzword to help people bring awareness to the decline of the white race, sure, but the phrasing of it sounds fucked up. Let's be honest. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for example, South Korea and Japan have a pretty bad replacement rate. I think South Korea has like 0.5 or 0.7. I believe it. I think they're the worst, actually. Japan maybe has like a 0.9 or 1 even. Then across Europe it's like 1.2, 1, somewhere else. And then America, I think they also have it pretty bad. But then you would assume, wow, okay, I'm seeing it across the board. I'm seeing it in Asia, I'm seeing it in Europe, I'm seeing it in America. Maybe he has a point. Then you look at Africa. 4.2, 5.2, 3.2, 2.2, I don't know, like there's a lot of higher numbers in that region. Then you start to think to yourself, hold up, humanity isn't dying out. We have plenty of African people who are reproducing at a healthy rate. In the Middle East, you have a bunch of 2.2s, 3.2s, healthy 4.2s. The Arabs seems to be kind of like reproducing and replacing themselves at a healthy rate. Heck, one could even say India. Although India is slightly declining, they still have a healthy replacement rate. So it's not really humanity or civilization that's dying out. It's just the white race that's quote unquote dying out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe the white race is dying out per se. I think that they're just shrinking, and it's gonna get to a certain point where it's gonna kind of like, plateau, and they'll just stay at a very small minority of the human race. But right now they're decreasing, and it's due to various circumstances, economical, cultural. A lot of things affects the decline of a certain group of people. But what I don't like, right, is the phrasing behind it. What Elon Musk and many other people are trying to imply with that phrase, civilization is dying out, is quite simple. They believe that if the white race dies out, all concept of civilization, advanced culture, will die out with it. They don't perceive the notion of Africans, Arabs, or Indians coming up, being educated, and being qualified in all those fields, and just continuing on human civilization. They truly believe if they're gone, the world ends with them. Human beings are fine. This is just what I'm trying to get at. Human beings are fine as long as we continue to educate the next generation of people and make sure that they're qualified for whatever career that they want to get into. Civilization isn't ending. You could make the argument white culture is ending. Sure, I guess, even though it's not really, but you can make the argument for that. But to be bold enough to say civilization is ending, the human race is ending, knowing damn well that you have a whole other group of people whose replacement rate is pretty high, pretty healthy. It just says a lot. It just says a lot. Yeah, that's just my thoughts, opinion on it. I just find it interesting that I would see Elon Musk and all these certain groups of people consistently perpetuating the end of civilization, the end of humanity, and trying to imply that their race is the sole reason why we have civilization, and if they are gone, the world is gone. This kind of touches on in regards to replacement theory. This is kind of like where it all builds up to. White people are just terrified of being replaced, but I find it ironic because they have no issues doing it themselves. They had no issues when they did it to the native Argentinians. They had no issues doing it to Native Americans. And in fact, they even tried to do it in South Africa for the most part. They have no problem doing it anywhere where they are residing right now. Australia is another good example. Replacement is fine when they do it, but it becomes an issue when it happens to them. And the difference in their replacement is that when they replace, they literally actively, purposely, and meticulously plan it out to replace the native regions. They did it in Argentina. Argentina was practically a brown region, but then a bunch of Germans and a bunch of other Europeans came in there and meticulously cultivated that land to become white. And which is why you see Argentinians pride themselves in being white or being the European country in South America, because it's all planned out. They did it as well with Australians, the native aboriginals. They planned it out meticulously as well. Whereas the replacement that they're fearing is happening naturally. That's the funny part. There's literally nothing stopping white people from just finding ways to reproduce. It's just happening naturally. They're just not reproducing as much, and the I suppose browns, like the Africans and the Middle Easterns, Arabs, and all these people, they're just reproducing. It's just, what one could say, it's just nature correcting itself. It sounds fucked up when I say it, but it's what's happening, right? There's no African, Arab, or I guess Indian that's plotting and meticulously calculating how to replace white people. They're just trying to find ways to live. They're just trying to find ways to make money, take care of their family, and live a prosperous life. That's just my final thoughts on it. I just find it interesting. So the next time you see Elon Musk or somebody saying things like, oh, the civilization is dying out, or the human race is dying out, or something like that, in reality what they're really saying is that we, the white race, we perceive ourselves to be actual humans, and the other ones are not humans. So when we say the human race is dying out, we just mean the white race. That's how I feel about it. Because if you know that there's a whole subsector of people who have a healthy replacement rate, the human race dying out shouldn't really be a concern. You should be really saying the white race is dying out. Just stick to that. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.